No, he was in the States for a while. I met him again in Reno. He was stationed at the Reno Air Force Base for a while. And then he was stationed in Minneapolis. He was studying there at the University of Minneapolis, Minnesota, and I stopped there. And those were after my sophomore year. When I was going down to New Orleans, I took a layover and stopped to see him on the way, which was pretty nice.
Yeah. And so then when he got out?
When he got out, he was lucky to get out because he had earned enough points during the war to get mustered out, as they called it. And the general needed a navigator coming home. So the general asked him if he would like to be his navigator. Oh, and he jumped at the chance. Anyway, he flew home to Washington, D.C., and phoned me from there and asked me again would I like to get married. And so the strange thing was I was so excited about seeing him and getting married, I started to talk to my daddy about wedding and Jenny being the maid of honor and all that. And my dad said, I think you better sit down. I said, well, why? And he said, well, none of us will be here at the end of the month. What? I'm being transferred to Korea. Oh. So we were leaving New Orleans just like that. Mother and I completely didn't expect it. It was complete unexpected news to us. And so we had to pack up and get ready to get out of there. And we left on November the 1st from New Orleans. The general's wife, he and his wife had been down in Panama on vacation. For a wedding present, she gave my mother, for me, some satin, ivory satin material that she made my wedding dress from after we got to California. The first thing she did was set up her sewing machine. And by the end of the month, we were married.
So you got married before?
On the 30th.
No, but before Grandpa shipped out then?
Yes, he was in a situation where the Army says, hurry up and wait. So he came to California, and he spent a few weeks in the pulpit in Alameda as a summer replacement for just a few weeks because he was in San Francisco at the Presidio.
So you didn't know whether he was going to be there or not for your wedding?
But since he was, the week before we were married, he invited the congregation to come to our wedding. We didn't have time to send out invitations. So they came, they packed the church. The women of the church gave us a reception down in the basement of the church. And one of our ushers, whom the family has known for years and years, I still remember him, he went through the reception line about 3 times. He says, I think this will be the last time I get to kiss the bride, so I'm going to take my advantage.
So was long.
He was my dad's age, but he was still a youngster in his thinking, just as we are now. We still think young, but...
So Daddy came home at the beginning of November, and you had just that month to get married?
That's right. Yep.
Wow.
No, he came home in October.
October.
And I think he was maybe in New Orleans. Maybe he stayed with us for about a week, but he had to go up to Oregon to see his folks before he came down to Berkeley,
and
where my folks were
stationed?
staying.
But where was
He was mustered. He wasn't stationed. He was out.
Oh, he was out.
He was out. And he put on weight. He put on good 15 pounds and got up to 185. And for 6'5", that isn't very much.
It's all those milkshakes he traded.
Milkshakes and hamburgers.
Traded his cigarette